Tell me, how did they threaten him?
Well, all I know is that they threatened him, sir.
What does that mean?
Fair enough.
He said something nasty?
Is the government in touch with these companies? Are you helping to backstop them?
You don't even know what the threat was. What was the threat? I haven't heard it. What was the threat? Did they say they're going to blow him up? They're going to hit him? They're not. You know what they're not going to do? They're not going to hit him with a nuclear weapon.
Is it something you're concerned about, sir?
No.
Iran's IRGC issues a warning that they will target 18 U.S. technology companies if the U.S. continues targeted assassinations of Iranian leaders beginning on April 1st. Those companies include NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft.
Most of those people are dead already. Yeah, Peter?
I got one. Your son Eric posted a photo of what will be the Trump Presidential Library. Yeah. It's a huge skyscraper.
In Miami.
Is that all a library? What else is going in?
No, well, it's a library. It's a museum or a library. It's a presidential, but I wouldn't start it till I'm out of office. I don't believe in building libraries or museums. It's really like the Barack Hussein Obama one in Chicago. In not a good location, and it's a very unattractive building that's seriously late and seriously over budget. I think you're going to see a great one here, and it'll go up on time, on budget, best location in Miami. They say it's the best block in Miami, and the state worked with us.
Will people live in the floors?
No, it's going to be most likely a hotel. You know, this concept could be office, but it's most likely going to be a hotel with a beautiful building underneath and a 747 Air Force One in the lobby, which is going to be a trick.
And the Supreme Court tomorrow is going to hear arguments about your executive order trying to get rid of birthright citizenship.
And I'm going.
You're going to go to the Supreme Court
I think
tomorrow?
so. I do believe.
And just sit there and listen.
Because I have listened to this argument for so long, and this is not about Chinese billionaires or billionaires from other countries who all of a sudden have 75 children or 59 children in one case or 10 children becoming American citizens. This was about slaves. And if you take a look, slaves, we're talking about slaves from the Civil War. And if you take a look at when it was filed, all of this legislation, all of this, everything having to do with birthright citizenship, it was at the end of the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves and the protection of the babies of slaves. It didn't have to do with the protection of multi-millionaires and billionaires wanting to have their children get an American citizenship. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's been so badly handled by legal people over the years. If you look at the original birthright citizenship papers, they all happened right after the Civil War. The reason was it had to do with the babies of slaves. And hopefully it's going to say, because our country is being scammed. We're getting all of these people. They're selling the rights to them. People are making a big living, getting hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars from bringing people in and saying, congratulations, your whole family is going to be a citizen of the United States of America. That's not what it was for. It wasn't for billionaires bringing people in or family in. It was for the children of slaves. And what you really have to do, and I don't think the lawyers talk about it as much, look at when the Civil War ended and look at the date of when this was enacted. Okay.
Have you ever been to the Supreme Court before? Is this going to be the first time going to the Supreme
No,
Court?
I went once before, the opening of the Supreme Court in the last administration.
And which justices will you be listening for most closely?
I love a few of them. I don't like some others. And you know, you say what you want, but you have the ones that were appointed by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. I don't care how good your case is. You can have the greatest case ever. They're going to rule against you. They always do. And it's not supposed to be that way. Now, the Republicans tend to be very different. They want to show how honorable they are. So a man can appoint them and they can rule against him. It's so proud of it. We're so proud we ruled against Trump. We're so proud. We're above it. There are those that say that's wonderful, and there are those that say they're so stupid. But the Democrats never fail at one thing. When Barack Hussein Obama or when Biden appoints somebody, they go along that line. You can have the greatest case in history. And almost, I guess I have to say almost, maybe I don't have to say it, almost without fail, those people, 4 of them, sometimes 5 of them, but 4 of them will vote against you. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And that's not what the court system is. Now, the Republican appointees tend to go, and this has been long before me. This has been for many years. Some people would call it stupidity. Some people would call it disloyal. Some people would say they're right in doing it. And I don't mind being right, but the other side almost never does it. Almost. I think you could find maybe a couple of instances. Almost never does. When a Democrat appoints a judge, and I'm talking about judges, not just justices. You go before some of these Democrat judges in Washington, D.C., and you don't have a chance. That's why I gave pardons to hundreds of people that were so badly treated, having to do with J6. Yeah.
President Safe America. Next.
Oh, do you have a question?
Yeah.
Let's go. I didn't see you over there.
Sorry.
You've been so nice. Here we go. Now she's gonna hit me with a bad one. Go ahead.
On the Safe America Act, Mr. President, do you still think it's going to pass? Were you
I don't know.
silent?
It's the craziest thing. The Democrats are totally against it. Again, they're unified. I think maybe you would have Fetterman, who I have a lot of respect for, but the Democrats are unified against it, and you need Democrat votes. Unless you do something smart called the filibuster, terminate the filibuster, which they should do. Republicans should do that, but there are a couple of Republicans that maybe they're not so smart, because the Democrats will do it on the first day in office, maybe the first hour. It's a question, will it be the first hour or the first day? So who can believe that a person, you can't even get it to the floor, that a person wouldn't vote for, think of it, for citizenship, proof of citizenship, for voter identification. And we also added one, we added mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots with exceptions for the military, for people that are sick, people that are traveling, for the disabled. We have very generous exceptions. But who would believe that that would be possible not to get those things to vote for? And then we added, best of Trump, we added no men and women sports. Different subject, but we added that. And we said no transgender mutilization of our children. These are all 90, 95, maybe 98 in some cases, maybe 99 in terms of those first two. If you talk about the first two, I think a 98, 99% voter identification, right? Wouldn't you think? Don't you think it's nice with picture? Wouldn't you think it's nice when the Democrats had their convention? I remember it so well. You had to have identification to get into the arena. And they had a card that was bigger than most of their chests. And it had everything. It had their picture. And if you didn't have that card, they threw you away. In New York City recently, we had a big snowstorm. Mayor Mandami he called out for people to shovel snow. But you had to give identification with picture. If you didn't have, and it wasn't one identification, you had to have 2. So to shovel snow in New York City, you need identification, double with picture. But to vote, which is maybe our most cherished thing, you don't need. They don't want voter ID, the Democrats, because they want to cheat. The problem is we need their votes. In order to get it, you need their votes. And look, they know their policy is so bad. They know that if they gave those votes, they might never win another election. So they're fighting like hell.
Would you sign
They're actually fighting for their survival because their policy, the Republicans have great policy, smart policy, strong borders, low interest rates, low taxes. We just gave you the largest tax cut in history. All these great policies, we want a strong military. Look at our military. We have the strongest military. Look what happened in Venezuela. It was so incredible. People say the greatest military maneuver they've ever seen. Look what's happening in Iran. We're totally unchecked. Everything's been bombed out. They have no anti-aircraft protection. They have no nothing. They don't have anything. Look at our military. The Democrats don't want that. And when I read the fake New York Times, you take a look at it, it's like, oh, they're putting up a good fight. They're not putting up a fight. They're not even shooting at us, okay? We have planes planes are just ruling the sky. We have airplanes. Those two. We have airplanes. Nice, right? Lincoln with a little modern touch. The great Benjamin Franklin with a little modern touch.